Only an hour and 41 minutes.
It's not even that bad.
Well, the other time we were like only 44 minutes. And then like when I looked down before we started, I was like,
okay, but a lot has happened. And we barely got to talk on Monday. So
I'm not upset about it at all.
At all.
So you're aware I will be at work all day Monday. So
same.
I love time. Anyways, we're back. Did you fucking miss us?
I was just going to say, did you guys miss us?
Did you miss us? I know you did. I missed us. Shit.
For sure.
Just kidding. We still are recording this during our break.
Yes.
Because we have to have these moments for each other. We have to hold space and be like, what the fuck are you doing with your life? I miss you. But we thought we would take a pause, a rest, a reset, a reflect, kind of make a little game plan and come back strong.
Mm-hmm.
I love it. I'm excited.
Same.
So this is episode 76.
Mm-hmm.
And we're talking about values. So when clients come to us, and I feel like I could speak for both of us, when clients come to us, lots of clients are like, I want to put me first. I want to focus on myself. I want this healing journey. I want to more so like kind of restructure their life so it serves a purpose for them versus maybe they were doing like people pleasing. Maybe they were not necessarily opening up or being vulnerable. So it's kind of this like redirection back to themselves. And so a lot of the times values comes up. Mm-hmm. And so as therapists, I think there's not like this class that we learn like how to teach people how to set values, right? Sure. It's more so just kind of this learn and go type mentality, but also then, being able to be a therapist and recognizing the different things people talk about that reoccur session over session. So we can start to help pick out like, this has been mentioned a couple times. This seems like this is important to you. Mm-hmm. What are your thoughts? Do you think that that's important to you? How does that show up for you? So I thought we should start off this podcast by talking about our values and what is important to us and how we decided upon those or how we learn those, right? Because some of them are learned and some of them are decided upon. Mm-hmm. So, Stephanie, what are your values?
When I think about values, I think about it in the sense of what is important for me to have in a relationship and what is important for somebody else in my life to have in that relationship, mm-hmm. right? Like it's reciprocal, but it's not. So there are a lot of things that I find important when it comes to me, right? Like I like to come to people with honesty, right? I like to be genuine. I also like to be unique. I want to be different. I don't want to be like everybody else. So that's important to me, right? Honesty is very important to me. A sense of humor is very important to me. Like I like to think that I can be very funny, and I also love when people are funny. Like I love having funny people in my life. It makes me very happy. Empathy is a really big one. I'm a very empathetic person. Not that I expect somebody to be as empathetic as me, but I would like it for them to have empathy, right?
Mm-hmm.
And, it's important. I have always been a very dependable person. Like if I say I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it. That's important to me. Respect, self-respect, and respect towards other people, for sure. Assertiveness is always welcome. I like to think that I'm an assertive person.
You are.
And I appreciate when other people are assertive as well. Like, please don't just play games. Like I'm 38. I don't want to play games. Just tell me what's going on.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. But I never like sat down to figure out what are my values. These are just things that I have come across over my life in relationships with people that I've figured out, like, this is important to me, mm-hmm. that this person that I'm entering a friendship or relationship with has these qualities. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. 100%.
I didn't want to burp into the mic.
Do it. Fuck it. Welcome back.
What are your values?
My values, I think the values that I learned when I was young, so like my nature versus nurture, my nature mm-hmm. values were work ethic for sure. Work ethic was huge. What I think is like a twofer, so it's both nature and nurture, is accountability. being able to be accountable to yourself and to others. I would say that's more so a lesson learned later in life, because I might have mentioned this on the podcast, I feel like a couple of times. When I was younger, I used to be a pretty good liar, pretty good at it. Used to, like, my parents would believe me. I feel like maybe the couple of things that my dad used to say to friends is like, I never used to know when she was lying or not. And I was like, you're just gullible. But
Richard.
So yeah. Oh, Richard H. So accountability is huge for me. I think so work ethic, accountability, open communication is huge. That was definitely a nurture one. That was not something that I was born with or that was facilitated around me, but definitely something that came towards the middle, like growth part of my life of like, open communication is literally the basis for everything, every aspect of my life. Like, that's what I need. Humor is huge, obviously. And then authenticity. That was probably a nurture one as well. Like, when I was younger, I felt like I attempted to be a chameleon, just to attempt to fit in and to be wherever, and not in the sense of like feeling like my worth was based on whether people are not liked me, but more so of like flying under the radar of like, I can get along with everybody, everything's okay, and just kind of figuring out where I wanted to be. But definitely authenticity is huge.
Can I ask you something, or am I going to distract you?
No, you can ask me something.
Do you think that your values have changed based on romantic relationships?
100%. 100%. So I was trying to figure out like pre-divorce Mari versus post-divorce Mari. And I didn't want to necessarily relate it back to that, because I don't feel like my divorce was I would say it was like 80% catalyst for change, right? I feel like there were, I feel like there were other reasons that I was like, God, I really, like, I want to work on myself. I don't like these aspects of myself. And then I feel like being like, God, I'm really fucking unhappy, kind of forced me into that. But I definitely feel like there were rules that I set with myself after I got out of that relationship that I feel like turned into values, right? Like, I didn't want to be in a relationship where I was checking phones and feeling like I needed to snoop up on somebody, because either that something needed to be addressed and open communication being a value, that conversation was going to be happening, or that was having a coming to like life moment with myself of, I'm feeling insecure. Why am I feeling insecure? Do I really need to be in this relationship right now? Is there some shit that I need to work on, versus projecting that onto somebody else? So that was one. One was like open communication. Like, if this person can't have an open conversation with me, like, we're done. Like, it does not need to go further. It doesn't mean that you're a shitty person. It doesn't mean that would never get along. It just means that I'm not willing to entertain this. I want to be with somebody who has open communication and is willing to have a conversation with me, versus like yelling or destructive behaviors. And also, like, work ethic was huge. I am a fucking workhorse. And so I expect work from someone else. So when you were talking about your values, there was one aspect of something that you said. It was when you were talking about like, I'm almost 40. Like, I don't want to be doing this. What was that? What value was that?
Assertiveness. Like, don't play games.
Assertiveness. Yes. Yes. So, and in my mind, it was definitely like, work ethic for me. That's what that is. I know that for you and for me, I can speak for both of us. I know this wholeheartedly, that it's not that I expect you or we expect you to be on our level. I expect to be able to see some sort of effort in that area. So like when you were talking, I was writing down how to allow others to show up where they're at, right? Like I can absolutely acknowledge that open communication is huge for me, but I also understand that people aren't just willy-nilly going to fall into vulnerability. So I can accept that you can come to me and say, I don't know, this is a scary topic for me, and I can meet you where you're at. But for you to just be like, I don't know, I think you're crazy or blah, 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 like, I'm not doing that. Like, I'm leaving because as a value, as a marker that I'm setting in my life, that is a goalpost. And so when I'm checking in with different relationships in my life, if we're hitting, I know Zeus is just on one right now for no fucking reason. Like, you are fed, you are loved, You sleep
He
next
didn't
to
say
me.
a motherfucking word for that.
Not a word.
41 minutes
Not
we
a
were talking.
fucking word. But here's the thing. Jeff's been giving him pate at a time. And so he's like, where's my pate? Like, that's him right now. Where's my pate?
I need it.
I need it. But you know that I'm not him, though. So go find him. I can't. He's literally at the door just like, meh, 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 meh.
I think to
Anyways.
piggyback off what you just said, though, vulnerability is a big value that I have now later in life. Once I accepted vulnerability into my life, which I didn't do till my mid-30s, because I was like, that's fucking gross. I'm never doing that.
Bitch, same.
Right? I was like, puke, gross. I'm not doing that. But since I welcomed it into my heart and soul, thanks to Brene Brown, I value people, right? And I have to, like Mari just said, I have to understand that me showing up in vulnerability is going to look different than Mari showing up in vulnerability, or person X or person Y over here. It's going to look different. That doesn't mean that it's wrong. Doesn't mean that it's bad. It just means that it's different. And if I don't accept that, what am I doing? I'm not making things any better, right?
100%. I think if we're speaking about values and all of these things of that we would like in a relationship or that we would like in our life or that we want to live by, I think we'd be remiss if we didn't talk about, okay, sure, it's great to talk about all of these values and to have these hopes and dreams and whatnot. We have to bring the boundary aspect into it. You have to acknowledge that in order to have values and like I can't even take a breath. I can't. You have to. You have to. I feel like I can't take a breath. I feel like I have to constantly speed up and talk over him because he's like
Ventura when he
literally
to talk really fast.
Oh my god. I'm all Daytona. Anyways, remember when I made that my name? Anyways, little did I know that like later on the names actually started showing up. So I might bring that back.
Oh, so we might have to bring it back.
Yeah, I'm just gonna have to like do a lot of research for different names. It got stressful for a minute. Anyways, train of thought.
Boundaries.
So setting these values, then it's great to talk about like all of these things are important to me. Oh, okay, well then let's talk about implementing them. It's fine to mark what's important to you. Then, because I believe that Steph and I are both action therapists, the next step is, how do we start to implement these things? What does that look like? And it looks like boundaries. When I tell you boundaries is a never-ending topic in our field, in our life, in everybody else's life.
Correct.
I wholeheartedly mean that. Just because you set a boundary once does not mean that boundary is going to be enforced. And my favorite thing that I have been hearing lately or seeing lately on social media, can't with social media, but I'm going to do my best. You setting a boundary with somebody is great. And if somebody is to disrespect that boundary, instead of there being this giant emotional reaction to that, can we please take a step back and understand that when we put limits in place where there weren't limits before, there is going to be a reaction.
Yep.
It is not our job to manage that reaction. It's not our job because somebody is having an emotional experience to disrespecting a limit we set with them. That's natural. That's going to happen. Put a wild animal in a cage, aka the boundary, and the wild animal is going to freak out and paw at the cage a little bit and might hurt themselves. We're not like, oh my God, we're so fucking terrible for putting them in a cage or a boundary. No, he was going to eat your fucking family, and now we captured him. We're going to release him a little bit later, but like it's a natural consequence. Them feeling whatever they decide to feel is a natural consequence to us setting a boundary and upholding that boundary.
I was just going to say, and you saying it's not set in stone, or like however you just worded it, like you may have to repeat it multiple times.
You will. You not might. You will.
What it is. You can choose to be mad about it and be like, they don't fucking listen. But
I don't listen to me.
This was not something that they were ever used to. So you're going to have to repeat it. That's how people learn, with repetition. So you're going to have to repeatedly say, I'm sorry, I can't do X, Y, Z, whatever it is that you're setting. Right? Like, accept the fact that you're going to have to repeat yourself.
Absolutely, because it's your boundary. I'm setting responsibility for myself because I'm the person who's saying, I expect XYZ in my relationships. I'm not going to be mad that I'm teaching somebody how to talk to me because that's what I value. I value open communication. I value you respecting me. If you don't know how to respect me, I will teach you how to respect me. You will not get my time and attention because you don't know how to come correct.
Right.
Period. I'm not going to argue with you about it. I'm not going to be like, I want you to pay attention. I want you to do this. I think you should, like, I'm not doing that. I don't have time. I don't. Even if I was 19, I don't have time. I don't. Period. It's my job to uphold my boundaries, which are what keep my values protected. If I reduce those boundaries because I'm operating in either people-pleasing tendencies, either shame, whatever other thing that may come up, that's on me. That's not a shame point. That's not for you to be like, oh, I shouldn't have done this. I shouldn't have done blah, 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 blah. I'm so mad at myself. That's spiraling into the abyss and leading us nowhere. That's not effective. My boundary is my fortress to my values. If I don't know to uphold that boundary, I need to take a step back and recognize what went wrong and go fucking back at it, right? You think anytime somebody in like a fucking general of war, they got their fucking asses kicked, they were like, oh my God, come pick me up, Mom.
Come pick me up. I hate it here.
Mom, Tom didn't listen. And you know what? Like, no. They went back to the drawing board. They're like, okay, pull back. We're getting our asses kicked. Lost a couple of people. Oopsie. But now let's go back to the drawing board and figure it out again. Like, get your life. Get your fucking life. Gather it. It's only you. Only you are the person who can do that. Get your fucking life. Go back to the drawing board. You being mean to you serves no purpose. It serves no purpose here.
Yep.
You're learning how to be able to say, this is important to me. Then how do I make that an action step to show other people that this is important to me?
I think it's important to take inventory of your values so then you can figure out what can I do moving forward to make sure that I'm living for me, right? Like when people are like, well, I want to find out who I am. I want to know who I like. Like that's part of it, right? Along with figuring out hobbies and shit like that. But this is part of this is like the central, we used to do a worksheet with the kids that was a house. And in the picture of the house, the values was like the basement, the foundation of the house. And then you build up from there.
Because you can't be utilizing some of these other skills that we'll talk about in some of the PS episodes if you don't even know what you're trying to talk about or what boundary you're trying to put in place. If you're just kind of like, well, I'll stand for anything, well, then you will fall for everything. Like that's what it is. It's coming back to what's important to me and what hill am I willing to die on? Like, what is important to me? Like, how do I want to show up for myself? And again, it comes back to myself and how I react. So that when we're looking at values, it's what is important to me.
If assertiveness is important to me, I'm not going to come and be passive aggressive.
Absolutely.
I'm going to say how I feel about the situation, right? If trust is something, same thing. If honesty is something, I'm not going to be lying to your face, right? Like
perfect example. If trust is one of my values and my partner cheats on me, my boundary is that I am no longer with that person because I'm not bargaining my worth anymore.
Sure.
So when people come to me and that's something that's important to them, trust, and they're with somebody who's cheated on them, that's a question or conversation that we need to have in the sense of, why are you bending your boundaries for this person? Why is that happening? Because if you met somebody off of the street right now and they said, I'm a cheater, you'd be like, whoa, not even talking to you. So why is it that we're allowing this person, maybe that we've known for a little bit or whatever, to continuously break those boundaries? Because we just keep lowering that bar in hopes that that person will change. We're questioning our values when we know this is something important to us. If trust and honesty is something that is important to me, I'm not basing that value, that next action step, on what this person can do. I'm basing that off of my actions.
Sure.
So if trust is important to me and somebody breaks that trust, It's not this game of, well, you need to prove it to me. You need to make it up to me. It's that you're done. I'm not questioning my worth with somebody. There will be somebody else out there who values me and doesn't go outside of this relationship because they're attempting to meet their own needs because something is lacking within. There's some sort of insecurity that they have not addressed. Because I refuse to internalize somebody else's actions as having something to do with me. Mm-hmm. Does that make sense?
That's usually the first question I ask somebody if they come to me and their partner was unfaithful. My first question, if they're debating on whether or not they can stay, my first question is, can you trust them anymore? Like, if you can't, what are you doing?
Well, they can earn it back. What does that mean?
I don't know.
This is not the Olympic Games. This is not, what is that? What was the fucking shit that we grew up with?
American Gladiators?
Oh, no, the shit on MTV.
The challenge?
Oh, bitch, no. Maybe it was VH1 with the little monkey and like the little things where they like, oh my God. I know somebody, there was like one team was like a monkey, one team had like whatever. Somebody right now is listening to this podcast and it's like, bah, 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 like screaming it right now. Oh my God, what is it? It was old school MTV where it was like in a thing, like it wasn't like Road Rules Real World Challenge type thing. It was like in like a staging area where they had this stage and these different colored teams competed against each other to get to
by doing what?
The mountain. Different like physical activities. Okay. Bitch, I'm gonna die.
It sounds like a Nickelodeon show from when I was a kid.
Oh, what was it? Maybe it was Nickelodeon.
I just looked it up.
Old
because
school.
Bug and I were talking about it.
Nickelodeon Challenge. Maybe it was Nickelodeon.
It had a mountain they had to climb at the end.
Yes. Guts. No. Yes. Was it? Okay.
Yes.
Wow, I was way off. Yes.
Yeah.
Bitch. Yes.
Not MTV.
That's not at all. Probably switched to MTV later and then just watched music videos because I couldn't sleep at my dad's house. I don't even know where I was going with that.
Like
the point's lost.
Something, earning trust back, maybe.
Oh, like games. Like we're going to set up this game and you can earn my trust. No, sweetheart. You're bargaining your worth. You're bargaining. You were begging for somebody to recognize your value, your worth, your value because you've tied your worth to that value. Absolutely not. Like, I refuse. Giant segue to MTV Guts, but still, I always wish I could be on that show. Nickelodeon. God damn it. I always wish I could be on that show, though. I really did.
Now you got to watch The Floor is Lava. That's fun to watch. I like that show.
Oh, Soph and I used to watch that, and then we watched the Ninja Warrior, but there was one other one that we used to watch. We're not doing this again.
We'll be here for 45 minutes.
Yeah, I refuse.
It's a value for me. I'm not doing it.
Yeah, you know what's a value for me? Letting my thoughts go when they gotta go. Acknowledging that the time has come that they're done. I'm done. Struggling. I'm not gonna sit here and keep struggling. It's 8 p.m. on a Friday. My med has worn off. I'm doing my best.
We are
showing up.
We're doing our best, Tom. We're doing our best.
My best, Tom. My best. God. Anyways, it feels good to be back, even though we never left. But to you, we did. We hope this break was refreshing. I feel so good about this episode. Stay tuned for super exciting things coming. Mm-hmm. You can find us at rewritingherstorypodcast at gmail.com. That is also our handle on Instagram and YouTube, Rewriting Her Story. You can find Steph at The Spooky Therapist and me at BEA_XO11 on Instagram. If you have any questions, concerns, comments, email us. If you have any topics you want covered, trust me, If you're thinking it, somebody else is. We would love to address it. We're not going to call you out. You don't want to be called out. We won't call you out. You want to be featured.
You want to shout
feature
out?
your
Let
ass.
us know.
You want to
People
shout
love
out? I'm going to be like, here you go, bitch. Like, we love you and we accept you where you're at, whether you want attention or not. Because we both, I love attention sometimes. Stuff I think maybe every once in a while, like, everybody loves it. Anyways.
I like acknowledgement. Yeah.
Yes, acknowledgement's good. I like acknowledgement. I don't like attention.
Yeah,
I don't want to be in the center.
Mm-hmm.
No, I'm sweating thinking about it.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yes. Oh my God. Oh, until next time, you guys. Bye.
Bye.